we are going to read about poetry after Pope. I hope you are doing all the best in your studies. So, what is the meaning of poetry after Pope? Just when you are studying, no, so there is the trick of studying everything, every subject. You have to start questioning. So, Alexander Pope died in the year 1744. So, this means this is the transitional period between neoclassical period and the 18th century, because this is the age between after the death of Pope. So, it means it will be between 17th to 18th century. So, the word here poetry like this. You have to write, use colorful pens and write about when the poetry come, at which age poetry come and how it innovated. Like for example, the word poetry come from Greek. I'm writing in a whole sentence because of the video I have to make. Don't need to write in your notes like this. I will write Greek and I will write from which word it is taken. Okay, this one. This is the meaning of poesis. Poesis means, so it means making. In exam, you will get bonus 2 marks if any basic question should be 100% right. And when you clear the highest marks, it's like medium question also should get right, and the toughest question you solve is the maximum, then you got the higher marks is. So that's why I'm saying these are the basic question you have to target. So poetry is the form of art, so you have to write in your notes it is the form of art. Sentence, this line itself can be used in any other line by the examiners. And what we use in the poetry, we use poetry rhythm, stress, unstress, like poetry rhythms that will be mentioned. I have made in 2 separation part so that you can write the all forms of rhythm or poetic device like alliteration. I'm mentioning here assonance, consonance, then onomatopoeia, cacophony. Just write them, cacophony. Then another word is eophony, and some like these are the device onomatopoeia. Yes, we have used this them, and you can also use like a sound symbols, sound and meter. Then we have important is meter, a pattern of syllable, like what is the stress, unstress, like that. So this will be covered when you do the detailed study of poetry things. You are targeting literary device also, every subject simultaneously in this way if you read, and history of English literature also. So these things I want to teach you because I want to make you just prepare not for exam but for your future. Period from neoclassical wit, satire, or you can say till the mid of 18th century. So in this we have seen the important one is the rise of in mid 18th century. If you want to remember, just remember that he died around 1744. So around 1750 this graveyard poets are like got school that rise around 1740s. Just remember this dateline and 1750. Because of writer, he used the first line here, that is the short and simple annals for the poor Thomas Gray. So if you are reading book, no, make connections. So I will be using Hindi language again in my video because many of my viewers are from South India. They don't want me to use Hindi, but I will be using Hindi simultaneously to create your mind networking you have to make in while reading the book. You have to make multiple connections. When I was like preparing for GRF, not only writing poetry, because I am not telling you the toughest section of reading the book, because many of students will not understand, or I am not saying that you will not understand, you will really understand, you can get through that, but some students don't want to get into the hardest form, what I am telling. So but I want to prepare you for the toughest and for the hardest. So जब भी मैं नोट्स बनाती थी पोइट्री के, मैं सिर्फ ब्रिटिश को टारगेट नहीं करती, ट्रिपल एक अमेरिकन पोइट्री तक को मैं टारगेट करती थी अपने नोट्स में. आई यूज टू राइट व्हेन आई वाज राइटिंग दिस पोइट्री फॉर्म नो फॉर अमेरिका ऑल्सो. आई दैट टाइम ऑल्सो इट इज़ फिनिशिंग माई मल्टीपल वर्क. इफ़ यू आर डूइंग हार्ड वर्क तो वैसे करो, अगर हार्ड वर्क नहीं कर सकते, ऊपर ऊपर का पढ़ सकते हो, देन व्हाट यू हैव टू डू दैट, मेक कनेक्शंस. दैट्स वाई दे हैव सेड पोइट्री आफ्टर पोप. इट मीन्स 1740 से लेके 1750 से राइज ऑफ ग्रेवयार्ड पोएट हुआ था. थॉमस ग्रे, who is the famous author of this school and the writer of this book Routledge history. He have taken Thomas Gray famous line elegy. He quote in that line, the short and simple annal of the poor. So ये जो line है, जब भी आप free हो, whenever you are free, just read the elegy. Notes, first point, the poetry after poet is this one, and in second point you have to read romantic era. After finishing this era, 1950 afterward, this era got rise. 1790s, after industrial revolution, we have seen the rise of romantic era. And third section will be the later romantics, or you can say gothic. So in this section, the whole part will be divided, and gothic revival. So this chapter will be covering these whole three sections. So this line, what these lines says, with the satirical, you can mark this, satirical and self-referential poetry. Just write this word. What is the satirical and self-referential poetry? Poets, these are the features you have to write in your notes of the Augustan period. Afterward that, during the remainder of the 18th century, when we are entering into 18th century, there is the exploration. Itself book is saying there is the exploration of new themes. What kind of new themes are? So you have to write like this. You have to again divide your section and just differentiate, like in Augustan period what you get, and in 18th century what you get. In Augustan period you get the satirical self-referential poetry. Like 18th century you find new kind of poetry. What it is? They use low key language forms. So this might be come in your exam. What are the low key language form? And another key fact they have given about the 18th century is that without the bite of satire, without satire. So you have to write, they don't use satire like the Augustan. They use satire. What is the differentiate? They use satire. Okay, and this kind Augustan period is the full of wittism, full of wit and humor. So this is the differentiate you have to create. It is already mentioned in this part of in this section of the book. Yeah, and you will solve maximum questions like this. James Thomas, his most important, most renowned poem is The Season. James Thompson, just read the book and make notes in itself. Afterward, when you're completing the whole era, like whole completing information about the era, then write about the writers. Don't mix up. Just read the book in second, write about James Thompson. He written between the 1726 and 1730. Can be seen as the first 18th century work to offer view of nature. So this is the first work of 18th century that offer about the nature and views of nature, and written especially in the blank words. It can come in your exam which form it is. So write in your notes, like when you have made this section of poetry, we have already made section poetry and only blank words. Dedicate poetry whole 2 pages or 3 pages. Every data, what are you getting in between, and include each and chunk between them. Innovated, when it innovated, what kind of form it is, how it is used, who is the father of blank verse. Like this, just write everything, each and everything without missing it. Blank verse Thomas' vision of nature is harsh, especially in winter. So he specialized winter, but bountiful stress of the pure pleasure of the rule. This is the main theme. With no denial of the pain, this pleasure can be involved. Celebration of nature is closely allied with the sense of dissolution of the hard work, harsh landscape, so the tone of the season is far removed from the classical idyll. This is not like a classical work written by John Keats like Odes. Not like that. It is very different. So till here you will get about the James Thompson's season. He sees negative side as the philosophical melancholy. Also the second theme, which is the very own time, just the sensuous Keats in his romantics. So they have compared between Ode to the Autumn and the Season.